Hello, my dear students. It's nice to be back once again. Even today, we will be discussing about the social inequalities, okay? And under the social inequalities, we have discussed about the scheduled castes, the OBCs, and also some of the reasons to why we have social inequalities in the society. Social inequalities simply means the inequalities which we see in the society, okay? So those are some of the things which we have discussed, and like I have mentioned in the last class, okay? This is something which is very much relevant to us, okay? The scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, okay? Scheduled tribes. Why? Because we Nagas, we belong to the scheduled tribes, right? Now, this scheduled tribes, okay? Here it says here, according to D.M. Majumdar, okay? D.M. Majumdar, M-A-J-U-M-D-A-R, D.M. Majumdar. So what does he say about the tribals? Okay, according to this person, according to Majumdar, it's given in your page number 47, the second paragraph. Okay, page number 47, second paragraph. Kindly, go through the books. Okay, as I discussed with you. So, D.M. Majumdar, he says that, okay, this scheduled tribes are a group of people. It comprises of a group of people. Who are they? Who have a common name. For example, among the Nagas, we have 16 tribes, right? Now, among these 16 tribes, we have different names. Poms, Konyaks, Aus, Angamis, Jagsangs, right? So there are different groups of people who have a certain identity, certain name of their own. The first one. The second is that, they belong to the same territory. All the members belong to the same territory. Means they have a certain place where they reside. For example, Zaneboto, where we can find the Sumis residing there, right? Mokokchung district, where we can see Aus residing there, right? Wokha. So in that way, okay, there are certain territories, okay, where the people reside, okay. Then the third point is that you also speak the same language, okay, means they understand each other, okay. Maybe there might be some variations among this group of people, but somehow they can understand each other, okay. Same language, same dialect is what they speak. The next is they have some certain taboos, do's and don'ts in the society, which the society and also the religious system has, enforced such taboos, such restrictions, which one should not what involved in. Okay, for example, among most of the tribals in Nagaland, a person belonging to the same clan cannot marry each other, cannot intermarry each other. Why? Because they belong to the same lineage, or they are considered to be from the same forefathers. And these are the reasons to why, they cannot intermarry each other. So there are some taboos which are there among this group of people. And also, the last and the most important thing is, they have reciprocity and mutual obligations which they have to fulfill, in the sense that they help each other so that there will be mutual benefit between this group of people. And this group are called as the scheduled tribe. That is what it says. Common name, no. Second is, common language is what they speak. There is a sense of this is the reason why they have a sense of unity. Okay, and what happened was that they also occupy the same territory. Okay, and the fourth point is, reciprocity, okay, and also there are some social obligations which they have to fulfill, and along with that, there are some taboos which has been enforced by the society. These are some of the things which we find, among this group of people, and thus D.M. Majumdar, narrates scheduled tribe in that particular manner, okay. And the scheduled tribes, okay, when we look into this, okay, we also find that they also go through some problems, and the government also have came up with some ideas in order to protect them, in order to give them some privileges. Now, when we talk about the scheduled tribes, okay, in our constitution, okay, we can find them in Article 341 and Article 342. It's given in your textbook, in your page number 47, third paragraph, second line. Kindly underline those important points. Article 341 and Article 342. Now, here it talks about protective discrimination. They protect them, from being discriminated, so that they are given some privileges by the government, okay, so that, they will also come up with the mainstream of the population. That is what it means here. Now, the next point is, okay, here it says that according to 2001 census, the population of the scheduled tribes were 8.2%. Okay, 8.2%. It's there in your page number 47, in the 4th paragraph. This paragraph is very, very important. So kindly tick or kindly put a mark on that particular paragraph. Okay, it says that 8.2 of the total of Indian population, this 8.2% are the scheduled tribes. That is what it means here. And according to them, it says that there are around 461 scheduled tribes, okay? 461 scheduled tribes, which we can find. So, according to the census of 2011, it also says that, the population of tribals are around 8.08%, of the total Indian population, okay? So, 8.08. And we can also see around 75 tribals, who comes under the primitive tribal groups, okay? Primitive tribal groups, okay? 75 tribals, okay? 75 group of tribals coming under the primitive tribal groups, okay? So now, why are they called as a primitive tribal groups? It's because this group of people have a very low population, they are very few, okay, very low population. Their literacy is also very low, okay, and the third point is that, their life, okay, their lifestyle is very much primitive in the sense that most of them, they depend on agriculture, okay, they depend on agriculture, but the way they produce or the way they practice agriculture is traditional method, or they practice the agriculture in a very traditional manner. And this is the reason why, okay, this is the reason why they say that 75 group of tribals, they are like the primitive tribal groups, okay. So, this is how they are being distinct from the other scheduled tribes. Now, let's discuss something about the problems. What are the problems they face? Now, the first is land alienation, okay. Land alienation, which means the land has been separated from them, okay. The land which belonged to them is being separated from them, or the land which belonged to them is being invested by the rich investors, okay, in order to take or in order to tap all the natural resources which they get, okay, from that particular land, or even the destroy the the virgin forest, okay, which is there, in order to take timber and also log from that particular place. These are some of the reasons to why the tribals sometimes they are even forced to sell their land, or because of poverty they also sell the land. Now, once the land gets exploited and also being sold, they have nowhere to go, and this is one of the reasons why the land has been alienated. And one of the reasons, why their land is being, after the land has been exploited, what happens is that the land becomes barren, okay? And this land was the only land which they had depended on for their, for their daily life, in order to fulfill the basic needs. And this is the reason why, the land has been alienated from them. Now, alienation of land is a very huge problem which we see in the society today, okay, among the tribals. And this is the reason why, okay, land alienation, is one of the negative aspects is one of the big problem among the tribals. The next is indebtedness, okay. Here, the same with the OBCs, okay. What happens is that in order to fulfill their basic needs, in order to buy their basic amenities, they have to pay, some certain amount of money. And what happens is that most of them, they are educationally and economically backward, and this is the reason why they have to, ask money, or they have to borrow money from their landlords or their money lenders. And this is the reason why, they face a lot of problem, of indebtedness. The next is health and nutrition, okay, health and nutrition. Now, the tribals, okay, most of them, they live in forests or even in unhygienic places. You know, we're not talking about those tribals who are like very well developed. Okay, we're talking about those tribals who are living in the remote area. You know, and these tribals, you know, they don't know the basic hygiene of life, and this is the reason why, you know, they also face a lot of issues with health and nutrition. The next is one of the basic problem, you know, in your textbook, page number 48, the fourth point, it is mentioned that the problem of alcoholism is very much there among the scheduled tribes. And this is one of the reasons why it not only destroys the life of an individual, but also it destroys the life of the whole family. For example, if there is an alcoholic in a particular family, okay, that person will not think about the family, but he will invest all his money only on alcohol. And this is the reason why, you know, alcoholism is also one of the basic, you know, one of the problem, you know, which the scheduled tribes are facing today. And we can also see that, you know, these people also practice keeping traditional liquors, and also they buy the country-made liquors and all the stuff. And this is the reason why, okay, it also leads to ill health or health issues among the tribals. Now, illiteracy and lack of education. Here in Kohima, Dimapur, or even some districts, okay, we can see that there are good schools where a child can go and get some basic education. The quality of education is good. But when we look into the remote area, okay, we can find a lot of problem which has been faced by those children. Okay, they don't have proper schools where they can get some basic education. And also in some schools, even though the schools are there, you know, some students, some of the teachers are not being found there, you know. So those are the regions where, you know, we can find the illiteracy rate is very high, and also the lack of education. They don't have proper schools, you know, in order to educate themselves, you know. So those are some of the problems which the tribals face. The next point is measures. What did the government, you know, do in order to, you know, do away with all these problems which the tribals are facing? Now, the measures for education, employment, and integration to keep them united or intact with the mainstream of the population. The first is measures with regard to education. Reservations are made. Okay, reservations are made for the STs. Okay, scheduled tribe students in colleges and also in professional colleges. Okay, so that particular certain percentage has been reserved for the STs. Relaxation of requirements, okay? Relaxation of requirements. For example, the cutoff mark might be a little, you know, or a slight, lower than the general cutoff, okay, for the scheduled tribes, so that they will also come up with others in certain areas, okay? It can be in the form of admission. So, the next point is that scholarships are also given to the students, post-matric scholarships for research, right? And I'm very sure almost all the students, you know, will be getting the post-matric scholarships, and also people who would want to do research, they also get scholarship from the government. So those are some of the measures in order to enhance the education, you know, among the tribals. Okay. The next point is, you know, measures with regard to employment. You know, even in the field of employment, you know, there are some seats which are reserved for the scheduled tribes. Jobs which are being reserved for the scheduled tribes. Central jobs such as SCCs or even the UPSC and all, okay, there are some reservations which has been made for the scheduled tribes, okay, and the scheduled tribes, you know, enjoy this reservation which has been made for them. The next is, you know, in order to encourage this self-employment, you know, entrepreneurship, that is what we can also say. So entrepreneurship and also engaging themselves in order to employ themselves, okay. The government has also come up with different bodies, okay, which will help the people in order to take some loans from them, or maybe take some ideas from those group of people, and then, you know, they can start their own business, and they can be very much independent, you know. So those are some of the things which we see in the tribals in order to enhance their employment. The next is measures regarding to integration, you know, which means some of them, they are being deprived of their rights, you know, and this is the reason why, in order to preserve the culture, in order to be one with the mainstream of the population, what happened is that now there are some measures which has been taken by the government. Okay, now in the field of politics, okay, some of the seats are being reserved. Okay, and that is very, very important for them. Why? Why is it very important? Why? Because through this politics, okay, the people, or the voice of the people can be heard in the legislative assemblies. Okay, until and unless there are people who represent them, the mainstream of the population will never understand the problems which has been faced by the scheduled tribes. And when we look into the picture of our country, there are so many, it's been like so many years where the tribals who were being secluded or who live in the remotest area, there were no representatives from those areas. And the government of India took a proper study about it, and then they made some reservations. Okay, since they could not compete with the mainstream of the population, they made some reservations for this group of people. And now today, okay, we can see that seats are being reserved for the tribals. Okay, seats are reserved for the tribals in Lok Sabha and also in the legislative assemblies. Now, also for the safeguarding of tribal rights, okay, and preservation, okay, of land alienation, the government has also given them some rights. Okay, the next is, okay, in order to safeguard their culture and language, okay, the government also has come up with some ideas, okay, in order to preserve all those things. Now, the next point is, okay, even in our state of Nagaland, okay, Article 371A, okay, has been given in order to, preserve our customary laws, our land, okay, the tribal lands, okay, which belongs to the community and all, right? So until and unless the community or the council, village council, or even, the bigger bodies, okay, until and unless they agree to it, the government cannot do anything about it. Why? Because the Article 371A gives us this particular right, which we will be also discussing in the next unit about this particular article, which is the Article 371A. And this provision is one of the most important provisions for the people in Nagaland. Why? Because it is one of the privilege which we get. So in that way, government, in order to uplift the scheduled tribes, they try to study the problems which they see among the tribals, okay, and they came up with some measures in order to tackle the problems which the scheduled tribes are facing today. And reservations has been made, scholarships has been given in order to encourage them to study, and along with that, okay, because of their poor representation even in the field of politics, reservations are also made for them. So those are some of the topics I wanted to discuss with you today. And in the next class, I will be discussing about the minorities with you, okay, which I think will be very much educative for all of us, okay. So we will catch up in the next class. Thank you so much.